Hi, I'm Emer Stamp. I'm a children's author and illustrator and the ex-joint executive creative director of Adam&EveDDB. Currently, most of my work has been on my series of books, my Diary of Pig books. So I'd always enjoyed writing and I've always enjoyed painting and drawing, but I've never really found a proper outlet for them. So I started to feel, as I moved up through the kind of the structure of, going from a junior creative to a creative to senior to creative director, that in those moves up and up and up, that I'd kind of lost, I'd lost my way slightly with actually being the truly creative person that I was. And it was around 2010, I think, when I joined Adam and Eve, and we were having an amazing time. We were working on John Lewis and we were working on the Always a Woman commercial, which was, it was quite a tense time. The agency was very young and we were trying to establish the brand and we were trying to do great work. And I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to do something personally for myself because I was spending so much time in the office, all kind of wrapped up in this work. And I just really felt the urge to do something that no one else could critique or be a part of. Diary of a Pig is, as it says on the tin, it's a diary of a pig. Basically, it started off as, it was one book, and it was his diary talking about the fear he faced from the farmer trying to kill him, although he didn't realise. It was a kind of naive story about a creature who doesn't know and begins to understand and what the ramifications of that were in a very silly way. There's evil chickens, a lot of farting. And then from that, I was asked to write a second book, which I was never sure there was a second book. There are now 4 books, so there clearly was a second, a third and a fourth. And then as my writing kind of got more sophisticated, so did Pig's adventures. So they went from a sort of simple story of the farmer wants to eat him to the last iteration in which he's kind of in a fugitive style, chased through the woods with a dog with 3 legs. It was a difficult decision to leave advertising. I mean, I think for a number of reasons. I was working at a great advertising agency, so that made it quite difficult. I wasn't working somewhere where I thought, well, I'm not giving up much here. I was giving up, it felt like a lot. I'd invested a lot into the agency. I really, really liked the people I worked with. I've worked with my partner, Ben, for, I think it was 15 years. It was like marriage. When I took him out and took him to lunch and said, I'm thinking of leaving, it really felt like I was saying to him, it's over. But I really did feel like I had to leave advertising. I don't know, I felt so drawn to the world that I'd discovered through writing and illustrating that I didn't feel that I could just walk away from. I think it would have always, I felt like it would always bothered me. And I think in life, if you think that something's always going to niggle at you, that's never going to make you feel particularly positive. So I could imagine that, even when I went back to work, I would be sitting in client meetings and in the back of my head, I'd just be thinking, I wish I was at home writing, and I could see that was only going to get worse and worse as it kind of went along. And I thought, for my sake, and actually for the agency's sake, I should take myself out of this situation because, they need the people they have in the position I was in to be the very best they can and be the most committed and the most focused. And I felt that, my focus had slightly skewed. Advertising's taught me that there are solutions that I should be asking for. So I think I'm probably a more demanding author in terms of, I will say, well, I want to understand what the sales are and what are you doing to appease Waterstones, who clearly don't like a yellow book jacket this year, they want a green one. I have no idea what it would have been like to be an author without having worked in advertising, but I can only imagine that it would have, I would have felt probably a lot more protective of my work than I do now. I don't think I miss Cannes. I did 3 or 4 amazing Cannes. I'm over that. Lunchtime drinking, I'm terrible at drinking now. So lunchtime drinking now, I don't really miss that. I still, on a sort of semi-regular basis, see people and catch up on the gossip. I guess that's what advertising was good for. It was good for gossip. And yeah, I guess I could sort of miss that slightly bitchy side of it, which is always good fun to be, oh my God, have you heard? I don't really get, oh my God, have you heard? Because no one has heard anything in my world. It's literally the baby might have cried or my son hasn't done a poo in his pants. So yeah, I don't get so much gossip, which it's a shame, but I can probably do without it. And I get a bit from my husband. He still works in the industry, so I still get to hear. And then you realise actually how silly it all is, and I get to sort of walk away from it.
Just before it looked like I might get offered the job, my wife and I sat down and I said, listen, this looks like it could happen, and you know, it's different, and it's a different experience for me, and it's, you know, not without risk and all of that stuff. And she said, well, I haven't seen you this excited in about 6 years.